Introduce our next guest speaker. HubSpot's an Ektron technology partner, and maybe you've heard of it. You may have heard the name. It's a very, very, very hot company doing some really innovative things in inbound marketing. HubSpot's all-in-one marketing software helps companies take leads and convert them to sales. In fact, we're not only partners, we're a customer. And Ektron's use of HubSpot has revolutionized our marketing. We've adopted the inbound marketing approach at Ektron, and what we've seen is that the combination of Ektron plus HubSpot is an unbeatable combination for inbound marketing. And it's changed the way that we've gone to market, and it's changed how effective our marketing has been. So it's very, very, very exciting. And if you think about it, what does the partnership mean to you guys, to our partners and our customers? Well, it means that you have access to HubSpot. It means that you have a productized integration via the Digital Experience Hub. And what it is our highest and best reference case for Digital Experience Hub integrating with a third-party software. So it's really good, and it's a great model for other integrations. So with that, I wanted to introduce Mark Roberge from HubSpot.
All right. Thank you very much, Tim. Thank you, Bill, for having us out here. Humbled to be part of this exciting kickoff. Show of hands. How many folks heard of HubSpot? Okay, wow. Very good. As Tim mentioned, we date back about 6 years, all the way back to a thesis we had done at MIT. We're really studying the way that the Internet has changed the way people buy and shop online. It's been a really fun run for us. We got about 400 folks on staff now. We've grown to 8,000 customers. Last year, that put us number 33 on the Inc. 500 list, growing our revenue by 6,000% over those 5 years. Me personally, I get more credit than I deserve, and I'm a little biased in this particular statement, but I happen to work for what I believe is the best marketing team in the world. This team delivered 65,000 new leads to my sales team last month. 65,000. Right? We're not talking about, these are non-duped, these are not list purchase, these are not trade show attendees, literally people coming to our website, sign up for trials, requesting demos, etc. So I was really excited when I got the call from the Ektron management team to really open up our doors and our walls and share with you guys the stories of how we got there and how we built that sales and marketing machine. So that's really what we're going to move through today. I'm going to be getting back to a particular statement continually through the presentation that I hope that you walk away as sort of a mission statement for your sales and marketing. Okay? I'm going to share a lot of opportunities that we went through. I don't see the marketplace leveraging enough. I'm going to share a ton of mistakes that we made along the way. Hopefully you can avoid those as well. And this is sort of the mission that I hope you can embrace. It's transformation and personalization, not automation. So I'll continually come back to this and kind of fill in what I mean by these particular statements. So let's start with transformation. Quick survey. How many people in the room in the last 6 months have received a call from a telemarketer, got into an engaging conversation with that person, and ended up buying the product? There's always someone. Usually it's like a timeshare or something, or maybe like the Wall Street Journal. All right, how many people in the last 6 months have received a piece of direct mail sitting on their office desk, intrigued by the letter, open it up, and end up buying that product? Okay. We got 1% back there. All right. How many people in the last 6 months have gone onto Google to do some research on a problem or a product, or maybe posed a question in LinkedIn or another social media site, and ended up buying that product? Okay, now we're up to 90%. That is representative of the transformation. Right, so I've asked that same set of questions to a room full of Harvard students, of senior citizens, of pet executives. I go to a lot of random speeches, and I get the exact same result. The Internet has really changed the way we shop and we behave as buyers. Right? And we actually call that older school way of marketing, this interruption-based marketing, we call that outbound marketing. Right? Not only have folks sort of non-subscribe to that type of marketing, they actually go out of their way to keep it out. Right? I haven't personally read or watched a commercial in like 5 years. I watch everything late at night through my DVR. Right? I've been on the do not call list for 6 years, and there's rumors about a do not call list for B2B. How is that going to change our sales strategies? right? I have a spam blocker that's getting better and better every single day at keeping unsolicited email out of my inbox. And I don't read any of it, right? So this is an enormous change behavior. Pretty obvious survey that I started things off with. What we advocate as part of this thesis that we had done, and part of the transformation that we hope people can make, is to move to what we call inbound marketing. Aligning yourself with this behavioral shift that is so obvious to us. This is about positioning your brand, your product, your company where people are looking. The buyers have not gone away. They're still out there. They just want to be reached in a very different way. And that's through search, that's through blogs, that's through social media. Now what's kind of interesting about this statement and this survey is if I repeated that survey and asked you guys in 2013, where's your marketing budget going? How much are you spending on trade shows, and direct mail, and cold calling? How much are you spending on blogging, and social media, and search? Probably going to be somewhat disproportionate. So I hope you can walk away maybe rethinking that approach for 2013. Let me start with search. That's usually the biggest opportunity for people. And there's an enormous misconception out there on how this actually works. All right? So when I talk about search, I'm talking about the organic results. All right? There are actually two sets of results that are happening on this particular page. In the peach at the top and down the right-hand side, those are the paid ads. All right? You can be number one on that list in an hour. Just go in and bid the most amount of money. Now, when someone does a search, 20% of the people will click on the paid ads. 80% will click on the organic. That's shown in the center. The red box is the first listing, and then everything follows underneath that. If you happen to sell to really intelligent people, like PhDs, 95% of PhDs actually click on the organic result. So I really like to try to win the organic game. And this is how it works. When I ask people, how do you think you rank in the top of Google Organic? Oftentimes they say, well, it's about these magic tricks on metadata and descriptions and these types of little tricks that you add to your content to make sure you get to the top. And that is becoming a very, very wrong answer, unfortunately. That is how the game was played 15 years ago. And Google was really the pioneer to change all of that. They made it about how many people were linking to your website. That, over the last decade, has been the biggest driver as to whether or not you win this search game. Okay, so what they figured was, hey, if a lot of other websites are linking to you, you must be important. You must really know what you're talking about. You must be the experts in your industry, the most authoritative thought leaders. And in fact, the better the website that links to you, the more powerful. If you get a link from the Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post, that is 1,000 times more valuable and more impactful on your search than, say, like your 15-year-old nephew's blog. Just doesn't have as much impact, right? So the game in the last decade has largely been about who can get the most links. It's changed a little bit. It's altered a little bit in the last year and a half, right? So this is actually an analysis that's done by a good friend of ours, Rand Fishkin, at SEO Moz. Okay, he's a brilliant statistician, right? And what this is showing is it's a whole bunch of attributes about your digital presence as a company. Okay? The bars in orange are how much social authority you have, how many Facebook fans you have, how many tweets you get on your blog posts, etc. The dark blue lines are your links. Okay? The green and the light blue lines down at the bottom has to do with like the metadata on your content and the descriptions on your content. And what he's measuring is he's showing you how correlated these different attributes are to your success in search. Right? And as you can see, over the last year, year and a half, what's bubbled up to the top? Social media authority. All those orange things are extremely correlated to search. Right? The backlinks are also up there as well. And if you read the Google Webmaster blogs, they are very public about the fact that their engineers are tweaking their algorithm to make it much more correlated to how well you do in social, right? So, we talk to people about social media. Lots of folks don't believe they're buyers. That's a separate debate. I think there's lots of buyers out there, and I see it all the time. But even if you're right, even if you don't believe your buyers are in social media, this is too expensive of a game to ignore. Because if you ignore social, you are going to lose search in the long term. Okay? Your ability to win search is going to be correlated to how many fans you have on your company Facebook page, how many followers you have on your Twitter profile, how many times your content gets tweeted when you put it out there. That's how you win search. Okay? So, if someone asks you, how do you do SEO? How do you get to the top of the search engines? The answer to that question is to build quality content as frequently as possible. Blogs, ebooks, whatever it is. And promote that content in social media to build a following. That is search engine optimization. So if someone comes to you with an SEO strategy to do magic tricks and tweak your pages, run the other way. If someone comes to you with an SEO strategy to suck all the amazing thought leadership out of the brains of your president and your executive team and put it in the form of a blog and put it in the form of white paper and keep you guys up to date with the conversations that are having in your space and social and get you involved in those conversations, hire that person. That is a good strategy. Okay. So a little bit of data. We are data hounds at HubSpot. We have this statement that we often make, in God we trust, all else bring data. Right? So we make very, very few decisions without some analysis behind the scenes. And just so you know, there's a link here at the bottom. I just scheduled a tweet at 10:25 a.m., so please be patient for 25 more minutes. On my Twitter profile, at Mark Roberge, this deck is posted, and you can download it so you can check out a lot of these reports that I'm posting. This is one slide out of about 50 that we posted here. We did an analysis of 7,000 companies. And what this was showing was, on the x-axis, how often those companies blogged. Okay? And on the y-axis, it was giving us a sort of relational index on how many inbound leads they got every single month. Right? So on the very left-hand side, those who did not blog scored 100 on that index. Versus a couple data points down, those who blogged twice a month in the B2B, which is the orange line, scored a 600. That essentially means that those people who went from not blogging to blogging twice a week basically got 6 times more inbound leads on average. If you did it once every other day, you scored 10 times higher. Right? So just to give you a sense, it usually took about 4 or 5 months to be able to get this ROI, just to give you a sense of what kind of impact you can have on your business if you really embrace a blogging strategy. If you want some inspiration, at this particular link, there's over 100 case studies of businesses like you that adopted it. There's businesses in here that have 2 people. There's businesses in here that have 75,000 employees. There's some that are doing $20 billion in revenue. There's some that are doing 100,000. And they're across healthcare, finance, technology, manufacturing, real estate, whatever it is. Check them out. You can sort them by tags. If you see someone that's inspirational, read their story. And I'm happy to introduce you to them. A lot of these guys are very excited and proud of their success. If you want to pick their brain, happy to make that introduction. Okay. So that's my first point, coming back to our statement, the transformation, right? The buyer's behaviors have shifted. We cannot automate the marketing we were doing 10 years ago. We are automating a mistake. We are automating a program that is no longer effective. We have to think transformation. We have to think about position ourselves where people are actually looking. All right. The most difficult step in accomplishing that transformation is actually getting that content engine going. Okay? If anyone in this room has become inspired and perhaps walked out as president of your organization and being like, I love what Mark said. As president, I'm going to start blogging once a week from here on out. You are absolutely crazy. That is not going to happen. Right? You are very busy. Right? What I want you to do is walk away and think about creating a content production engine at your company. And here's how you do it. You first have to separate the writing from the thought leadership. Right? Look around your company. You can probably identify a few dozen thought leaders. They're in your C-suite. They're your marketers. They're your salespeople. They're your engineers if you sell a technical product. Okay? They have amazing thoughts. They're on the edge of the marketplace and the innovation that's happening in your space. You've got to get those thoughts onto your blog and into your white papers. Now, the challenge is those people are very valuable to you. They're very busy. And no offense, but sometimes they suck at writing. Right? Like, I suck at writing. Right? So what you want to do is identify those people and then go out and find a journalist. It could be the person at your front desk, your admin, who studied English. It could be an intern you hire. I encourage you to go to a great school. If you're here in DC, go over to Georgetown, go over to GW, find that 22-year-old who's studying journalism. They have no job prospects. All right? I mean, honestly, like, the newspaper industry and the magazine industry are not exactly on fire. Okay, but they are amazing writers. And they don't realize they hold the keys to the future of demand generation. So give them those keys. Go find that person. I just did this last year with Zillow. You may know Zillow in the real estate industry. They went across the street, hired a 22-year-old at UCal Berkeley, put out 1,600 blog articles in the last year, and the results have been phenomenal. All right, the case study is being published next week. So go and find that person. Once you find that person, now you will sit them down every Monday morning at 8:30 for a 30-minute cup of coffee with one member from your thought leadership committee. Start in the first week with maybe your CEO. Okay? Tell your CEO to talk about a very niche subject, a very niche trend happening in your industry. Nothing that the CEO has to prepare for. If they have to prepare for it, it's too complicated. Something they'll be able to rattle and talk about for 30 minutes. And that journalist is going to sit there, take notes, ask awesome questions. Right? And they're going to produce a 3 to 5 page ebook based on that conversation and put it behind an Ektron landing page. All right? They're also going to produce 4 blog articles from the same conversation, 2 to 3 paragraphs long, about niche subjects within that ebook. For each blog article, they're going to publish 3 to 5 Facebook posts and tweets about little statements and statistics in each one of those blog articles. And this is huge content going out there. There's now lots of opportunities across social media for someone to get intrigued by one of those tweets. And they're going to click through and read your cool blog article that comes right out of the brain of your CEO. And at the end of the blog article is going to be a call to action to say, did you like this blog article? Would you like to read the 5-page ebook that we wrote about it? And they're going to click on that. And they're going to come to the landing page, and they're going to say, I'll give you the ebook, but just give me your name, title, phone number, email address. And you will generate a sick amount of qualified leads. And you can repeat that process once or twice a week, and that is a content production engine. Okay? So don't walk out of here thinking that you, the busy executives at your companies, are going to do this yourself. Go and work hard and create that engine. The big thing you got to do is find that awesome journalist. That's the thing you got to do. And then create this engine and make this happen. Okay? Let's redefine, let's transform the way we think about demand generation. All right. Number 3. Market automation. So for whatever reason, the industry is a little over-obsessed with market automation. Okay? You heard from Tim a little bit about our product. We have this all-in-one marketing suite, from SEO to blogging to market automation to email marketing, analytics, the whole thing. So, you know, 1/10, we have a very strong market automation offering within our suite. And we sign up customers, and I'll say, okay, Joe customer, where would you like to start? I want to start with the market automation system. Fantastic. Why do you want to do that? Well, we've got 50,000 awesome contacts in our CRM system. And I would love to nurture them with these automated emails and wake some of them up for my sales team. That sounds brilliant. Okay? Tell me about that list. How long did it take you to build that list? Well, we've built that list over the last 15 years. Okay? Tell me about your cleansing strategy. How have you cleansed it? What do you mean by cleansing? Gulp. Right? Well, Joe, I mean, clearly that person you met at that trade show 12 years ago, they're probably not at that company anymore. Maybe not even in that role. They probably don't have the same email address. Have you been cleansing this list at all? No, we really haven't. Okay? And tell me how you built the list. How much of this was like opted-in people, inquiries coming to your website and converting? And how much of it was like passive lists that you bought or fishbowls you set up at your trade show for people to put a business card in so they can try to win an iPad? Right? Well, probably a little bit more in the latter. All right. We're in trouble, Joe. I will be honest with you. You probably have 1,000 to 2,000 qualified prospects in that list of 50,000. And the only thing you're going to accomplish by setting up the HubSpot Market Automation platform against that is a whole bunch of spam and a whole bunch of unsubscribes, and possibly putting your email reputation at risk. So this is a very dangerous proposition. What people don't understand is a couple concepts. Number one, there's this concept of a database half-life. Okay? If you have had success and you've built this awesome 50,000 contact database right now, all opted in, all interested in your product, 1 year from now, the industry research shows that 25% of that database will be irrelevant. Those people would have changed jobs, changed strategies, maybe changed companies. Right? And if you do the math and push that irrelevance over 3 years, your great 50,000 leads database is now really only 21,000. Okay? So unless you are replenishing that database by 25% every single year with nice opted-in qualified leads, you are marketing and selling to a dying asset. And that is not good for your company. That is not good for you as the sales or marketing executive. Okay? The other thing people don't realize, and this is a survey we did across, I think, 5,000 companies and about 150,000 email campaigns. And what we were looking at was the number of days along the bottom since that lead had converted on the website, and on the y-axis is the click-through rate on the email campaign. So you can see here on day number 1, if you come to our website and you fill out a form, and we send you an email that day, your likelihood to click on that email is 5.5%. Okay? Just 3 months later, 90 days later, if we send you another email, your likelihood to click on that email is 2.2%. Makes a ton of sense. I mean, what form did you fill out 3 months ago? I mean, you've done 1,790 things since then. Right? So if you are not generating a whole bunch of fresh leads, your email campaigns are going to grow less and less effective. Right? So you do all this math together, and this awesome 50,000 leads database that's fully opted in today with nice conversion rates are producing 500 leads a month, just 3 years later, is producing 42 leads a month. So don't be over-obsessed with jumping into market automation too early. You have to start with the transformation. You have to create the content. You have to get the flow of inbound leads to feed your database for that market automation system to work well for you. Number 4, if you are ready for automation, I want to talk to you about the right strategy to go about. Okay? So I advised a company last month, a Fortune 500 company in tech space, who had a tough year deploying their initial approach to this, using somebody else. And what they did was, they're really good. They're hot. They actually get an 8% conversion rate from visit to free trial. 8% of the people that come to their website get into a free trial. That is world class. But they get very few customers from that. Okay? Great. That's a perfect situation for market automation. So what did they do over the last year? Well, they implemented a tree branch structure. They said, great, if someone gets into a free trial, if they're assigned to a sales rep, we'll send them this email. We'll notify the sales rep. But if they're not assigned to a sales rep, we'll send them this email. And if they come back to the free trial within 3 days, we'll send them this note. But if they don't come back to the free trial in 3 days, we'll send them this note. And it had a little bit of an impact. So they did another one, and they did another one. And then they put one on their pricing page. And they introduced one on their blog. And 6 months into the engagement, they had 27 of these complicated if-else statements, tree branch structures, built. And they looked at a lead and like, where the hell is this lead in this mess that we've developed? Right? So the problem with this approach is this is not marketing that people love. We are not on tree branch structures. When I come to your website, I am not someone who came to your pricing page and didn't come back in 3 days. I am a sales executive who is a passive visitor to your website, i.e. a persona and a buy cycle stage. And that's how we have to think about laying out our market automation campaigns. The other thing is, for whatever reason, people obsess in customizing and personalization just through email. This particular room, thanks to Ektron, is actually world class in thinking beyond this. But the marketplace just obsesses with just email in this personalization. So this is the wrong strategy. The right strategy is to start by appreciating the different personas that you are reaching in your buy process, whether it's an IT admin or a CIO or a sales executive. Those are shown on the left-hand side of this matrix. And then appreciate the different life cycle stages, the different buy cycle stages that they go through. Right? So are they coming to your site for the first time? Have they become a qualified lead talking to a sales rep? Are they an opportunity? Are they a customer? Right? Appreciate which box they're in. The rules behind this matrix can be as complicated as you want. But someone is in a box, and that is very simple to understand. And once you figure that out, now you can personalize sales and marketing experience for that box, for that person and that stage. Not just your email, but your homepage. Your homepage should look different if it's the CIO versus the IT admin. Your homepage should look different if it's the first time your IT admin came to your site versus they spent 5 hours with your sales team. Your social media, do you even go after them through social media? Are they active in social media? Your sales team, definitely. The voicemails and the emails that they're sending them should all be customized and personalized to the box that they're in. Okay? So start with this design. Don't be overwhelmed. Design big and start small. Don't feel like you have to hold up and have something in every single box before you go to market. Start with one of the personas, or start with one of the life cycle stages. And as time goes on, fill in your boxes. You'll end up with a much more healthy approach. You'll end up with a much better experience for your buyers. Okay. So, don't obsess over the tree branch structures. Don't obsess over the if-else statements. Okay. Think about the personalization matrix and thinking about multimedia, not just email. Okay. And so, we heard a little bit from Tim. This is where Ektron can, you guys are world class. Ektron is probably in the top 1% of our customers that have done this, especially on the web, and enabled hopefully you guys to do it as well. I've talked to probably about 5 or 10% of you, and many of you are thinking down that angle. So that's well done. Number 5, the last one. As you probably could have guessed, this type of strategic execution requires a very good relationship between sales and marketing. And that rarely exists. Sales and marketing are usually like cats and dogs, unfortunately. Okay? Marketers typically, I don't mean to offend anyone here, I'm a salesperson. Marketers typically perceive salespeople as overpaid, egotistical brats that don't have a strategic bone in their body. Okay? And salespeople typically perceive marketers as arts and crafts professionals who wouldn't know what lead would close to customer if they saw it. Just general disagreement between the two groups, unfortunately. Okay? So to pull this off, that wall needs to be broken down. And we get a little tech geeky when we try to break this down. I think a lot of the tech folks in the room can appreciate this. We actually use an SLA. We use a service level agreement between the two groups in terms of what they're going to deliver to each other. Very quantified, very precise. Okay? So this is our marketing SLA. This is what marketing is sales every single month. When we first started this, we did make a mistake. 2-3 years ago, we had all our math figured out. We knew that in the mid-market, my reps needed 200 leads. They'd reject 10% of them. They'd connect with 50%. They'd create 40 sales opportunities, do 15 demos, and close 5 customers for an average revenue of 800 monthly recurring revenue. We had all the math down, right? So it was easy for us to engineer and come up for marketing saying, you have to produce 17,000 leads this month for us to hit our number. Pretty good. Pretty good starting point. Now what's wrong with that is all leads are not created equal. It is obviously much easier for marketing to get someone to attend a webinar on Facebook marketing than it is to get them to request a demo. But guess which lead closes at a higher rate? I mean, demo requests close 2.7 times more than people who attend a Facebook webinar. So the alignment was not pure. Right? So what we did, and I think now what we're doing is world class internally, is we've separated our leads by persona. So in the upper left-hand side, you see our small business leads. Upper right-hand side, you see our mid-market leads. At the bottom, you see our enterprise leads. And we've studied all the mini funnel segments of those types of leads. So we've got a whole bunch. We've studied 20,000 webinar requests in the mid-market. And we've studied 20,000 demo requests in the mid-market. And the 20,000 demo requests convert at approximately 8 times greater rate than the webinar requests in that same market. So we can reverse engineer an actual lead value for every single lead that's created. And now we can put marketing, yes, marketing on a quota, a revenue quota. So their SLA is no longer 17,000 leads in the month. Their SLA is $31,000 in monthly recurring revenue for the mid-market team. And if they want to get there with 10,000 demo requests, great. If they want to get there with 100,000 webinar requests, great. Either way, I'm going to get to my number. Okay, so that's very good alignment between the two groups. Now, sales does not get off the hook. If marketing is going to work really hard to get those great leads into our hands, we have to do them justice. We have to call them deeply and convert them at a very fair rate. So as an MIT nerd, I obsess with these crazy questions. Like, I know that my guys need to call those leads right away. I know if my guys call a lead within 1 minute, we are 27,000 times more likely to be successful with that lead than if we wait a day. Thanks to my friends at InsideSales.com that did an amazing analysis. So we know to call our leads right away. But I ask myself these questions. When should I call the lead again? Should I call it that afternoon or the next day or the next week? And how many times should I try that lead before I give up? 1 time, 5 times, 10 times? I don't know. I obsess over these things, and I look to the math. Right? So this is an analysis that we did, and I studied like 40,000 leads. I waited 6 months for them to cycle through our sales process. And on the x-axis here shows the number of attempts we made, the number of times we left voicemails and sent emails to those leads. So for whatever reason, there were some that were only tried once. I don't know how that happened. And there are others that were tried 11 times or 12 times. Right? And on the y-axis, it shows the profitability of those buckets. Right? So obviously, if you try a lead 10 times, you're probably more likely to get on the phone, but it costs more money for a salesperson to try a lead that many times. Right? So where do these things max out? The yellow line showed all leads. It maxed out around 9 or 10. The blue line is the small guys. That maxed out at like 6. You know, the presidents of the small companies, when the phone rings, they think it's a buyer, and sometimes a salesperson. A little easier to get them on the phone. The bigger guys, you know, the mid-market, it took more like 10 or 11 times for that to max out. So now I could go out to the sales team and say, guys, we went in the back room and we figured out the path to making the most money. And they all applauded. And we also programmed it into Salesforce.com, so you don't even have to think about it. It'll just show up. And they all applauded. And then there's going to be a report that goes out every single night to show if you're actually on track or not. And they all applauded. Right? So very easy to perceive this as micromanagement. Depends how your culture is and how you roll this out. And people really appreciate the fact that we're keeping on track. They don't want to think about whether to call a lead again or when to call it. They want to think about how to break the ice and build rapport with this person, develop need, and move them down the sales process. So the fact that all this is laid out is nice for them. Now we can hold marketing and sales accountable to these goals every day. On the left-hand side is the marketing report that shows how they're tracking versus that revenue target. And on the right-hand side is analysis by team, by individual, showing whether or not people are on track with their call patterns. It goes out to the whole sales team, the whole marketing team, me, our CEO, everybody. Full accountability. Okay? So it's really important in this transformation and pursuit that these two groups work together. Don't let it be a subjective relationship. Build that SLA and hold them accountable to it. Okay? That thesis at MIT ended up being about creating marketing that people love. You know, what we always try to do when we think about how we're selling and how we're marketing is, would I want to be sold to that way? Would I want to be spammed to? Would I want to be cold called? Would I want to be sent a random direct mail? Or would I like to be educated with good content from your best thought leaders? Would I like to be part of an if-else statement, or would I like to be customized and personalized, right? So it's about, like we've talked about, creating great content and educating those people, and then appreciating who they are as individuals and create the right context and them through to close. And when these two things work together, it's a very, very powerful sales and marketing machine for your business. Unfortunately, a lot of people go out and try to pull the 12 different features off the shelves and kludge them together, and that doesn't create a great experience. HubSpot is to bring it all together, and we're psyched to be able to partner with Ektron to make all that happen. If you'd like to check out more, you can go to HubSpot.com/3 and see information about that. I brought one of my marketing executives, Rick Burns. He's actually doing one of the breakouts right after this. You can learn more of these tactics, and over at the Ektron booth, we'll be showing more of the product features to see how that works. That is my time. I appreciate the time, guys. Thank you very much.